Man, talking about post high school, what or like when you guys were in the midst of your senior year, what was recruitment like for you guys? Because two different players, you guys play big roles in, senior year. You guys play big roles for your teams. What was your recruitment process looking like for you guys?
Well, I mean, I'll start. Our recruitment processes were polar opposites. Mine was basically none, and had the whole list. No, I mean, for me it was it, a lot of smaller schools, a lot of community colleges, a lot of D2s, that kind of realm. And then some bigger schools said you could come walk on, and all this stuff. But just because they knew I work hard and and that sort of thing, but nothing crazy. I was really thinking about going to Occidental. They were in my ear quite a bit. Um, yeah, but in the end, I I wanted to stay close to home, and I was fortunate enough to actually be able to make the decision to go to Seattle U because my buddy Brooks was going there, and my girlfriend at the time was going to go there. So I mean, it was a sound decision for me, and then I like the school part of it because I know there was something I wanted to do after. So everything kind of fit in line, and then I got the Bill Gates scholarship, so I I could have went
Got a
anywhere.
scholarly.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
yeah.
a scholarly, bro.
I was
Like,
after all along, and yeah. So that was basically my recruitment. So I got to go where I wanted to go. Not I didn't have to worry about where I was going to play because I didn't have I didn't have aspirations to play after college.
Hmm.
I mean, I talked to Dwayne Casey a little bit. At the time, he was a coach, maybe the head coach of the Japan national team, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you can come over and play, make good money." And I liked the idea, and I thought it would have been a really fun experience to go over there and play. But I guess I just had other plans that I wanted to see out. One of which was dental. Well, I originally wanted to be a physician, so that was kind of my original plan, and then I just kind of altered that a little bit. But I knew doing something like that would have made it a lot more challenging to kind of keep that rolling. So yeah, I made a conscious decision. I knew who the light was at the end of the tunnel was approaching quickly. So yeah, that was my recruitment. Basically, was I got to choose myself, and I said okay. So I talked to Hairston, Al Hairston, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about. He's like, oh yeah, we'll take care of you and all this stuff. And I said, well, I got Bill Gates scholarship, so anything else is extra. So
bars.
yeah, so it was good stuff. Yeah, it was good
Man,
stuff.
I try to teach kids that, like, I look back at that and I'm just like, dog, I don't even know, like, I had no excuse to think like this, right? But somehow throughout high school and kind of losing the influence of my mom, it just like I start well, and I had horrible grades, so I didn't have the grades to get a academic scholarship. That's probably the most, but just hearing that, bro, and thinking, being in education now, and really trying to stress to kids like, yo, you don't gotta be my height. You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be willing to sit here and read this book. Build your skills, academic, intellectual. I love hearing stories like that. It makes me not. I don't want to say. I can't think of the correct word for it, man. But that's what I encourage kids. Obviously sports, yeah, but so many other different options. Yeah, so that's beautiful, man. Now just kind of transitioning. Like, it's really weird because I think about some of my friends, like Will Conroy. A couple of these cats, B Roy, all these guys were kind of already, like, I had quit playing basketball 8th grade, and then I got to high school, was 5'10", and then I grew. I was 6'4" my sophomore year, and so all of a sudden I could do this dunk now. I'm Oh, hold up. Okay, yeah. But I didn't, then I played varsity my junior year and I grew another 4 inches, so I'm 6'8". So the only recruiting that I had at the end of the season was a Portland Pilots questionnaire. All right. It was a questionnaire, and then I was
after your junior season.
this after my junior season. This is all I had. I had played 1.9 minutes a game. And like I said, I just started really working on my game. Like, let me go to St. Joe's and follow B up here. Coach Ahern, he's been working on me with certain things. So I'm like obviously played in front of my grandma's house every day. Hooped in the neighborhood. Clearly, I did that, but it wasn't anyway. So I get a call from a friend, DeMar Basie. He's like, bro, do you want to hoop? We got an AAU team, right? At this time, yes, was stacked. Friends of Hoop was stacked. Everybody was stacked. So I don't even know what I'm about to do. I'm about to prepare for the next season. And he hits me, and then Coach Loudon, he was one of the CAY coaches back in the day when I did play, and he just asked if I wanted to be on the team with Roderick Stewart, Nate Robinson, Will Conroy. Roydell was the last chance tournament, so Roydell Smiley was going to be playing with us. DeMar Basie, I think it was Gerald Smiley, Corey Jones, and I said, "Are you kidding me, bro?" Yeah, and Reggie Lamar, who I just reconnected with, and so that's the team, right? I'm the only big on the team, and I remember the first day of practice, I'm just seeing just greatness, man. I'm seeing the twins. I'm seeing Nate just do. I'm like, what the hell? I'm playing with these. Like, I'm more like a fan because I'm just sitting on the bench watching a lot of hoop at this time, right? So I know what I should be doing, but I'm like, oh shit. So now I'm actually in the position where I get to do it. Long story short, I apologize. We go down to California, and Daryl Hennings. I was playing for the GP All Stars. I got the free GPs. Best shoe I ever played in with the flat foot. It's the only thing that had enough. So the GPs, and then like 2 pairs of J's, exclusive colors. Nobody else in the CD South End. Nobody had these J's except for us. And so I'm like, damn, bro, this is what it is. Like, okay, but I'm still humble. I don't know. I'm seeing all types of stars and people ranked and in the Slam magazine. And I'm stretching. We're all stretching, getting ready for the game. Kenyon Martin is sitting right up there. He's one of our favorite players at Garfield. We patterned our junior year team after that Cincinnati team. He's in the stands, and D. Hennings comes up to me, and he's just like, yo, nobody knows your name. But, if you play the right way, if you get this done, right, you're going to go back to Seattle, and everybody's going to know your name. Just period. You're going to go back to – so we play the first game, and it's okay. I'm a little nervous. Dude tries to dunk on me. I block his dunk, and I don't know what happened after that. I don't know if I was like, oh, I can do this. I don't know what happened, but I had like 10 blocks that game. The next game, I lost my tooth, actually. Before I lost my tooth, I had probably like 5, 6, 7 blocks. Then I came back the next game, and I remember Syracuse, all these different schools were watching. I broke Tyson Chandler's record. We played against Jamal Williams, actually, when he was a guard, before he became a big. Then we played against Pump and Run that had Rick Rickard, Dennis Latimer, all these great bigs, Isaiah Fox. And I broke Tyson Chandler's single game record for blocks and had a triple-double. And then we played Michigan Mustangs, who had Robert Whaley, who was one of the best players that nobody knows about, but he was a monster. Kelvin Torber, just a number of guys. And we lost to them. But after that game, Syracuse, Kansas, UCLA, and I went back to school or to Seattle, and I was like, man, this dude wasn't playing. Like, they don't even call me Anthony anymore. I'm A-Wash. I'm Ant-Wash. I'm Washing Machine, right? I got a nickname, and I remember because I couldn't believe it. I didn't have the confidence that I should have had. I was just like, yo, like, I've always wanted to go to UW, like UW's right up the street, always love the football team, Donald Watts and blah, 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 blah. And I want to make them good, right? I just started thinking like, man, well, I can make them good. And I started talking to B, I started talking to Earl, I started talking to all these other guys and was like, yo, let's go to UW. And I decided to go to UW before the season started at Garfield. And so didn't take any visits. I could have took visits. Didn't do any of that. Ernie Kent. I remember crying because I felt bad. I was feeling bad telling people I didn't want to go to the school. But I remember being in the bathroom. I closed the bathroom door. I was like, Coach Kent, man, I'm sorry, man. I just, appreciate everything that you guys have done and said about me. And so, yeah, I had a a lot of schools, but I shut off east of the Mississippi quick, which didn't make sense because I wanted to go to Syracuse. Mike Hopkins recruited me at one point in time, and I shut all of that down. So I ended up at UW, and yeah, shouldn't have went there, man. I should have went to like UCLA or somewhere else. In retrospect, no regrets though. No regrets at all.
Yeah, you had a good time, I'm sure. Yeah.
Very long story though, but yeah, man.
That's crazy. We like those long stories. I feel like I was on the journey with you. I always remember hearing. I heard that you played on maybe it was an Adidas or some big camp, and you were on a team with Tyson Chandler.
Yeah, man.
And you guys were both just like unstoppable. Well, Tyson was ridiculous too, right?
I was with so I came back to Seattle and I had the choice of getting my tooth fixed. Well, you would know about this because it's funny that you did it, right? Okay, so when I came in, you did you shut it down, and then I had to come back, right? So they did the initial part of it. But they couldn't do the initial part of it because it was like you would have to come back and yada yada yada. So you're just gonna have to go to Nike camp with no tooth, just nothing right here, right? I already had a gap, so it was just bad. So I get there and I remember thinking like the most exciting thing is kind of like a Charlie Murphy, Rick James moment. But I remember walking into the luncheon area, and I remember at Nike camp I see McDonald's High C orange, right? It's a fountain. I'm like, holy shit, you guys, are you serious, bro? I went straight to the thing. Like, there's Jamal Sampson, there's all these great players in there, and I went straight to the High C orange. But it was cool because I remember sitting down. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, I averaged 26, 15, and 11. Oh my gosh, I'm getting recruited by this guy and blah, 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 blah. And I might just go to the league if they would have let me and this, that. Tyson Chandler saying what he's saying. And it gets to me. I'm looking, drinking my High C orange. I'm like, I played a minute a game, man. It was like, come on, man, stop playing, man. Shut up, man. Stop playing. Stop playing, bro. I played like a minute a game in high school, bro. And then I broke your record. I was saying stuff like that. I broke your record. In the Dominguez Hills. Oh, really? Right? And during that time, I ended up getting to be with the big dogs because, we was on the same team. And I remember on the court, blocking shots wise, don't come nowhere near the paint, right? Because I didn't at the time. I thought I was a great shot blocker, right. But I'm playing with a dude that's 7'1". He's more athletic than me. He's okay. I broke your record, but I'm on your level, but you definitely a better shot blocker than me. I'll say that right now, right? But I remember on offense, he was getting triple teamed, so I would be at the high post, and I would just cut to the basket and just dunk as hard as I could. And so he looked out for me, and I remember getting hurt. Story of my life, but I got hurt, so that I think it was the last day I didn't get to play. But I made a great impression on coaches, and yeah, that was unexpected, bro. I didn't think any of that was gonna happen. I was preparing for it, which is weird. Like I started to really, really work. Like I noticed how B, even if he wasn't in the gym for hella long, the moves he was doing them so hard. Like but then in the game, he would transition to a game and do them at his own speed, right? And he would tell me he's younger than me. I'm just learning the game from everybody. That's why I argue the way I argue, is because, bro, I'm using principles that I've learned from Nate, Aaron. I'm not just talking on my head. Like, you might disagree, but I'm going off of principles based off. I was a bench player, right? Those are usually the best coaches because they watch the game. I only had a small time in high school that I actually got to be one of those guys. But yeah, so yeah, man, it was a crazy time. I'll never forget it. It was life changing, and I wouldn't have had a free education to go back to school to to become a teacher. You know, if not for that spring and summer, man, which is crazy. I always think about that. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's good. I don't even know how. I don't know if it was someone at Garfield that told me about that way back in the day. That like AWAS played in this tournament with Tyson Chandler and they were killing everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
I
we was
remember
eating.
hearing about
Is that
that.
ABCD camp, Ant?
It was Nike camp. Will Conroy was there. Like the other dope part about it was, so Roydell Smiley, like he was like my favorite Bulldog. You know, I know Cass got more state titles or whatever. You could, you know, went to the NBA, but the person I looked up to the most was Ed Roy and then Roydell Smiley. He was Mr. Bulldog, 20-point state title. You know, and so I remember he went to Nike camp. He would come to school with the Nike camp shorts on, man. So that's like my standard, bro. So
that was our flex back then. I mean,
right. If you had some shorts, he would go, he's filthy, right? So I remember when I got that invitation, it was like, dog, I did something Roydell Smiley did, bro. I've done something Roydell Smiley has done, dog. Like, at that point, you gotta. I'm a big fan. Like, I'm just as much a fan as I am. I don't feel like I'm on the same level as these guys because I didn't really get to go in with them that long, bro. Like my success started to come even later, even after college. Like coming back and playing against these guys as a grown man, and like I learned, I soaked it in. I got some reps now. I done played against some cats away from here and came back, and now I got what I got, but. I could talk all day about it. Getting all emotional.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Shout out to Black though, man. Roy Smiley's one of the best in the town, man.
Hold up, and to go just to finish what I was saying because I got emotional. I went on a tangent, but just to finish what I was saying. So the significance that year was representing Seattle was not only me, it was Eric Bond, who nobody talks about. 6'7", Seattle prep, wing, shoot, dunk on you, and then Will Conroy. And me and Will in that same summer, we went from I don't really know to this is what I know I did, right? But we came up in the same tournaments. And I remember at Nike camp watching him play against Chris Thomas and some of the other top guards at the time and just being proud of just, seeing him on the other court. Like, man, that's crazy, bro. Like we really out here doing that at Nike camp. So that was just to finish the initial thought. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, Trev, you talked about, being able to make your choice and picking SU just because, locally and academically and athletically had what you were looking for. Talk about, your journey over there at SU and, going from, it's a good story for a lot of people. It's a familiar journey for so many student athletes at the collegiate level, whether it's going, coming from a walk-on and then earning time and then becoming a starter and becoming a more intricate part of the program. So, kind of reflect on that journey over there.
No, yeah. I mean, it was tough from a basketball standpoint as far as if I went in with the expectation that, I was going to go in and play a ton of minutes and all this stuff. I probably played the most my whole career was my freshman year, and the second most was my sophomore. So I just kind of slowly, my minutes just diminished. But it made me, because a lot of my ego and esteem was as an athlete, in high school, as a soccer player, as a basketball, that was who I was. I wasn't, nobody really understood me as this smart guy, that's going to go be a dentist or a doctor. And it wasn't really till I got to SU that I kind of shifted that focus. And I personally hung my identity more around that and it was like, oh yeah, he's on the basketball team too. What? This guy, that was more my ego, kind of my identity, which, for me, it was just about kind of having that self-realization, self-awareness of where I was and not necessarily overrating myself and my abilities and, just kind of enjoying the moments that I did have, making the most of it and just really enjoying being on the team with all the guys and Yeah, I enjoyed the minutes that I did get, but that wasn't everything to me. Half of the practice I didn't even go to because I had to, my major was biochem. And so I had a lot of labs that I had to get to and all this stuff. So, in all honesty, basketball wasn't at the forefront anymore. I enjoyed it still. Yeah, that's where I made that transition pretty quickly because I knew where my focus had to be. Because otherwise I wouldn't have had success in either. If I would have tried to, spend more time on the basketball court, my grades might have failed and maybe I don't get into dental school and all this other stuff. So, yeah, that was kind of a conscious decision that I made was, and between all of us, near the end, I was scheduling my labs during practice time because I knew nobody could say anything. And I was like, well, I'm not going to stress myself out. I'm going to take it easy.
I tried that.
Yeah, I'm going to go to my lab, get a snack, and I'll make my way. I'll be there when I be there kind of thing. So that was kind of my MO, especially as I started to wind down as far as basketball goes. But I mean, I still love the game and, I definitely see myself more as a coach than a player now. That's just kind of my transition. But yeah, I mean, at CW, I didn't get a lot of minutes, barely any, especially as time went. Freshman year, like I said, I probably was the most time I got on the court, and I had a lot of fun. With it, and take a lot of those memories home. And but I wasn't stressed. I didn't feel pressured like I need to score 15 or 10 points this game to make, because I knew where I was in my life. And part of that was Ron Drayton and Kurt, just getting that maturity very quickly as much as possible. And so I was able to turn that corner a lot faster than maybe anybody else, because I just realized that even as a college freshman that what I wanted to do. And so yeah, that was kind of where it took me. I'm sure Ant's got a different story there.
Well, Chuck, go ahead, Chuck.
Oh, I wanted to ask both you guys a little bit of a backpedal, but I want to know, what was your guys' favorite individual matchup in high school, that, like, your favorite player that you would go up against that brought the best out of you, and vice versa?
Yeah.
Man, somebody that kicked my ass.
Or however you want to put it.
Somebody you had fun matching up against,
I mean,
whether it was Shep or whoever.
I always gotta be honest. Like, there's somebody that had no business. He had a really good game. I got into foul trouble. His name's Andy Cisco, man. He actually doesn't get any love. He ended up playing baseball, but he was like a little strong, real strong. Had a little bit of touch. Was athletic, but just big. He was bigger than me. Outweighed me, but Andy Cisco it never made sense, but I had trouble with Andy Cisco. But then thinking about, I again, man, like high school, I didn't get to do much scoring, and so a lot of my matchups, it sound like I'm one of them old cats in the streets, man. We was in the street, but it really was the person that I loved matching up against the most in high school, because I think he made me the defender that I felt I became. Was Jeff Day. And it was because you had to run the court, you had to guard him for the jumper, you had to also guard him for the traditional post or the open up, and I mean, he could do everything. He wasn't as confident as he probably should have been, but like when we would play just in the gym, 5-on-5, 1-on-1 or whatever, that was my favorite person to play against, man.
Right. Yeah. Man, for me, it was like I kind of alluded to this earlier, but I mean, my guy Brooks, well, both of them for that matter. I mean,
yeah,
it was such a challenge having this guy guarding you on the basketball. I mean, it was, you can't really do much. I mean, like it's demoralizing to a lot of degrees. And then on the other end, his little brother, the one everybody knows, he was lightning fast. I mean, so like, it made you feel like I like to always think I'm a pretty fast guy, but with this guy, I mean, he was lightning and I was in cement. I mean, those were fun every day in practice. A lot of fun for me. But one guy I always I guess had trouble with was Rick Frazier. I mean, like I was saying, that floater. I mean, I to this day I can't give you an answer for it. I mean, I don't know how he gets that going, but I should be asking him about it so I could teach my kids somehow. But I mean, he when he gets that floater cooking, I mean, there's not much anybody can do. I mean, it's I still don't know how to stop that shot. So those two that were a lot of fun. Yeah.
I can see that Fraser floater with them baggy ass shorts, just throwing that thing up there. Yeah. I can see it right now.
Yeah. Hey, but real quick, I'm sorry to cut you off, Chuck. Real quick, Trev, that's messed up, bro. Am I your favorite matchup now? Now that you're a little bit older?
You're always a tough guard, man. Yeah.
We've had some real battles in our men's league, bro. We've had some clashes.
It's a lot. I mean, all these matchups are special, and the fun part about it is you compete on the court to your fullest ability, and at the end, there's just respect given both ways. I mean, that's the fun of basketball. I mean, even like we're talking, Ant's a good friend, but in high school it was rivalries, but that's the respect that the basketball community just has for each other. Even games in men's league. I mean, it's some men's league games they take it after the game, but for the most part, I mean, it's just respect all around, and you just respect what everybody does, and I have fun kind of analyzing everybody's nuance to their game, and and it's a lot of fun, and we had some good matchups, Adam. Yeah, those are fun games.
You're still quick as hell.
Oh, stop.
I'm slow, but no, you're still quick as hell.
Oh man, thank you, man. Yeah.
Kind of thinking back to that AAU like the spring and summer, man. Again, because like in Kinko there wasn't really any bigs. You know what I'm saying? Like so, and obviously I threw out T. Shep, who's my nemesis. He did everything that I didn't like to have to guard. But Josh, like I got to match up against all those guys in the summertime, and it was a big deal that he was coming to play Garfield. Like it was supposed to be like a big matchup between me and him. But Big Josh, RP, just thinking about that whole summer, kind of T Cook. I don't know if you guys know T Cook from Chief Shelf.
Mm-hmm.
I was another guy. He never gets any love, but he had just a plethora of moves. Just wasn't the most athletic, but he could do pretty much any post move on a post. So, but yeah, man, there's so many matchups. Like Trevor was saying, where like playing against and this is in college. I wasn't a scorer, but I remember preparing for like Ike Diagu and the Leon Poles and all those guys, and just thinking, like, watching the tape on them and just seeing, like, bro, these guys are, they're amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man. I think that's one thing about the game that I hate sounding like an old man, but I realized why the older cats thought like this, because it was even more intense for them. But those matchups, right? It seems like we sometimes shy away from those matchups, like players do nowadays, and you anticipate a certain moment that would have possibly came. Doesn't seem like it happens as much nowadays in the game. But yeah.
So Ann, I got another question for you. I wanted to know what was it like I don't know if it was you entered the transfer portal, but tell me how you ended up at Portland State, and then tell me a little bit about your time there.
Oh my gosh, man, I was so I was a Bender recruit. The first thing I said, I was a Bender recruit. I started my freshman year, right? I earned my starting position. I started, even though I was holding all the bags, and I got hurt our first Pac-10 game. Right, it was UCLA, TJ Cummings. I got hurt, so I hurt my ankle, and really, I think that's actually when I tore it. And so from that point on, I was still starting, but I mentally, emotionally. Part of the reason I chose to teach social emotional learning is because I feel like at that time of my life, man, like I just was just unstable in a lot of different ways. And so I don't think I was ready to be at University of Washington playing basketball. I was, just wasn't, it didn't fit outside of the court. And then I got hurt on the court. So then it was like, I was just kind of in this state of what do I do? I'm coming to practice blown. I'm doing, and I'm good. I'm killing. I'm still practice war rebound. I'm still, so it was like Coach Romar, me and him, we would sit in his office often and just be like, I don't get, you obviously don't realize how good you could be. You don't realize how good you are. You're doing all these different things. And so, he actually gave me a choice. He told me I could stay here and never touch the court again, or I could leave. And now, mind you, if you look at the losses in the tournament, there's no way that Coach Rowe wouldn't have put the 6'10" cat in to try to put a body on Boone and all these. So if I was confident, right, if I had the confidence, if I had the social emotional stability that I needed, right, to have, I would have heard that and took that as a challenge. Or if I had a Drayton in my life, I would have took that as a challenge and been like, Coach, I got you, bro. I got right. But instead, I ran away. The year before, I almost transferred to Gonzaga. We took a little secret trip with Earl Knight, and I can say this now. This is 20 years fused. He's good. But we took a little secret trip out there. My dad stopped me from transferring because, again, he's trying to teach me. Nah, you don't run away from. Nah, get right. You started. What are you talking about, right? And so this year, Portland State comes to the house. I had a David Hudson. I remember all he used to say is "big fish, little pond." Big, don't try to go to a big school where they're gonna get somebody else that that could have, right. Go to just a small school and kill. Coaches come in and talk about Shea boxes there. I'm like, okay, yeah, Shea's filthy, right? So they're like,
Seamus, man. Shout out to Seamus, man.
Yeah, shout out to Seamus, man. He's an amazing player, and he was kind of what started realizing like, damn, I was tripping, right? He just kind of seeing how he approached the game, how he approached being a student, and even professionally later on, but. So they're basically like, Seamus is a senior. You're gonna redshirt this year. You'll get to come in, replace him. You'll be the cog in the wheel. So what ended up happening is after the season, Portland State has a great season, but we lose in the conference finals to Weber State. They had Lance Allred, who ended up getting drafted by Cleveland. And again, see, if I was on that team, there's no way Lance is like. There's no way. Anyway, so they ended up leaving. They ended up leaving. Coach Schroyer left. The whole coaching staff left. So this is the second time in my career where I was recruited by a coach and then they leave, right? And so I never actually got to play for the coaches I was recruited for. And on top of that, I wasn't in the right place emotionally or mentally. And so it was just a bad experience. Like, Coach Bone ends up coming and takes the job. I had a horrible relationship with him at UW when we were both there together. And so the whole idea of going down there was to average a quick 20 and 10 and get out. Instead, and again, I hold myself accountable for everything, but there was just some things that were being done that I witnessed with another player that while I was at UW that I kind of knew was like, this ain't all me, man, because I got a kid. I got a 3-0. Like, I'm not even the same person. And it just didn't work. I averaged like 10 points, like on 50% shooting. They were running a bunch of plays for the shooters. It was disappointing. Like, even I remember Stuckey. When we would play against Stuckey, I was 7 for 7, and I think we could have won. Those games where I was playing well, but I didn't know how to back down from the coach. And I think if I would have been smarter about it, even though I felt there was certain things that were happening, I would have approached it differently so that I could have more success on the court. And I was a renegade, which works in education, but as a basketball player, thinking and really talking back and all that stuff in a positive way is not positive for the team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it didn't. Portland State didn't go well. I actually got kicked off the team going into my senior year, and then I got brought back to the team, and I would play sparingly. And then I remember in the conference tournament, Coach Bone, man, this will always hurt my feelings, bro. But we have a chance to win. You know, while I'm in there, I'm better than everybody on the court. And I'm not, no disrespect to nobody who's playing. I'm bigger, I'm strong, I'm healthy. Like there was nobody on the court that could stop me. And I was playing hella hard. And I remember we 5-6 minutes left. Me and P. Hafford looking at each other. He was just like, "Yo, I'm going with the guys that got me here, right?" And so I'm thinking like, "Oh, this is not him trying to prove a point." But it ended up being, you know, let me basically watch the team lose my senior year, man. And so I ended up, you know, I get recruited, right? I get this high, but not ready for it. Then get to UW, not ready for it, not realizing the opportunity I had. Then I get to Portland State, and I felt like I started to realize it, but I still didn't know how to really overcome adversity. So when the adversity came, I didn't know how to respond to it. And as a result, that's a large reason why I'm a teacher, because it's like, yo, when was I supposed to be taught that? Like nobody, you know what I'm saying? There was never a time where I had a Drayton. Like I'm just hearing what you're saying, and that's no disrespect to the coaches. But yeah, I think that's a large reason why I'm a teacher. Just my experience, and then not going anywhere near where I wanted, and not being realistic about what I could have done differently at UW and at Portland State. So yeah, it sucked, man. Nah. Everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a reason, and you know, I could say the same thing about my overseas career. Like there were certain things that happened that solidified me in my mind as a great player. But I don't talk about it because I didn't have a sustaining high school career. I didn't have a sustaining college career. I didn't have a sustaining pro career. So I don't put myself in those same categories. I don't, you know, unless you're talking about shot blocking, I think I would be crazy to be like, yeah, I'm this. Bro, I averaged 8.9 a game. Or in college, you know, I was a defensive stopper. Or in pros, like, yeah, I'd have a good 7 games and get hurt. Or, you know, like I went to Miami and was killing down there, and I thought I was in the league, and then I get hurt. So it's basketball. The love for the game that grew as I got better and as I got more confident. That the hurt that I felt from that, and then kind of going back and realizing like, damn, I could have did that differently, regardless if I got hurt or not. And when I went to Miami, and I shut up, but when I went to Miami, this is way fast forward, but I knew without a shadow of a doubt, I did everything I was supposed to do, because I went down there at 260. Riley, he tells me I'm the most intriguing player in the camp, which at that point I'm like, fuck what anybody says. Pat Riley just told me, like, right? But then right after that, he says, but you're out of shape. He said, you got the longest reach, you got some of the biggest hands, you got the highest vertical for anybody over 6'7", blah, blah, blah. Your quarter court sprint is this, but you're out of shape for $1 million fucking audition? And I said, I'm like, holy shit, like what? I'm looking around, because at first I was like, oh shit, like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm like, what just happened? Like, what just happened? I swear I'm about to cry, but I'm holding it in, and I'm walking past Spoelstra, Askins, Riley, and they stopped me, right? And he's just like, yo, can you lose 30 pounds in a month? And I said, hell, like I didn't know why, but I was like, yeah. I just said, yeah, I can lose 30 pounds in a month. He said, if you could lose 30 pounds in a month, or he didn't say a month, before the summer league practice starts, before that camp starts, you got a spot on the team, right? And it was about a month worth of days. That's what it was. And so I went back to Seattle. I know for a fact that I did everything I was supposed to do as an athlete. I was eating right. I was riding my bike everywhere I went. And it was down in Miami when I went back down there at 2:30, jumped higher, ran faster. I'm killing Michael Beasley, and I'm that's no disrespect to the player, but I was the best player I had ever been in my life. My confidence was right. They're telling me we're in South Beach, Jim Jones smoking and all types of crazy stuff going on. And they're telling me, tell them you're in the NBA, bro. You about to be in the league, dog. You're in the league. I'm like, I hurt Beasley one day. I'm having shoot-arounds with Bob McAdoo, hitting bank shots with this guy, right? And so I'm crying in the room. this is the night before the day of the summer league. I know I made the team. Anthony King from Miami ends up leaving. I see him leave the fucking arena. Right. Very next day we come in. I'm happy. I'm dunking and doing all types of stupid stuff that they told us not to do. And I just remember pulling up, like, oh shit, like, whoa. So I'm now, okay, I'm good, right? I'm good, but now I'm kind of limping. Trainer comes over, you all right? Oh yeah, I just got a cramp. Shit, I got a cramp. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me, but I'm like, I got a cramp. And at that point, I knew, man. Like, it was because of the injury that I've had since UW. But at that point, that I knew it don't matter what I do, I need to figure something else out. But I loved hoop, right? So I kept playing, obviously. But it was at that point that I knew, like, yo, this isn't just, my body might not be able to hold up at this point. Because, yeah.
So that's kind of a good segue, like I said, you guys, we can't tell you enough how much we appreciate you guys taking time out of your Sundays to speak with us about your journeys. Man, there's been some incredible stories, man, and we're very blessed and grateful to have you guys on. Talking about your journeys to your careers to this day. Trev, you're an entrepreneur. You wear a lot of different hats. I've known you for a long time. I've kind of always had your hand in something. You said you were coaching for 9 years, but now you're a dentist. And first I'll start with Trev. What's the thought process in going into the dental industry, and then being an entrepreneur, opening up so many different doors and avenues for yourself and for your family?
Yeah, I mean, so like I said, I originally wanted to be a physician, but then I actually, to kind of keep it basketball connected, I actually worked for one of my old basketball coaches that I had in Asian League. So I worked for him for one summer, and that was just to make money, like a job. And I was in there, and I said, this is kind of interesting, And then I talked to the physician I was kind of doing intern with, and he said, yeah, dentistry's way better for you. You get more of a family life. And I said, so I started kind of paying attention, and I just kind of fell for it. I really enjoy what I do as far as, basically being a dental surgeon. So I get a doctorate of dental surgery. So I enjoy what I do. I get to use my hands, create new things every day in people's teeth, and it's a lot of fun. Now to go along with that, the hustler in me, the hustler positive connotation of just trying to outwork people. I wanted to do more as far as the business side of it, so I started buying dental offices and operating them from a business side, because I always kind of had that business savvy, buy something for less and sell it for more kind of thing. That hustle has always been with me, and I really enjoy that process. And so now I own 10 dental offices, and
Man, what the heck?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Let me throw 25 at that, man. Let me throw something at that, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. So yeah, and, I got my hands in so many things that it's all fun. The arbitrage is all the same. Business is kind of all the same. It's trying to have stay creative. In no matter the industry. So whether it's a dental office that I own, whether it's the school that I own for people, or whether it's a tow truck company, whether it's shoe flipping, whatever it is, it's all the same hustle, so to speak. And there's intricacies.
It's a thought process, man. It's,
right.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No. Yeah. So it's all the same, and I love the idea of making money without being present as far as your time, because I always knew I wanted to be a big part of my kids' life, and so that's where I love the coaching aspect, because I get to pass down some of my knowledge as a basketball coach. A lot of the knowledge that I've gotten from the Kerrs of the world, the Draytons of the world, a lot of these other coaches. And so I'm able to pass down this and put my own personality on it and create an experience that's enjoyable for my kids. But a lot of that's come from how I've structured my professional life to be able to allow for that. Because otherwise I'd be, in the office, 9 to 6 kind of thing every day, which I still a lot am, but it's working on these other projects that allow me to live a lifestyle that my family can do a lot of things, and I get to spend time with them coaching, and so now I'm creating experiences for them that if say I didn't have the time to coach, not to put shade on other coaches that they've had, but I feel like I can take them to the next level as far as basketball goes. And so, now they get a lot of pride in it, and now they're developing their identity, kind of very similar to the movie Inside Out, where they kind of have these identity islands. And so just trying to help develop, their self-esteem and stuff like that. But that, like, it's all circled around how I run my professional life and being able to take time off when I need to, when we want to, go on a family vacation. I'm afforded to do that. And it's just a lot of fun. And I take a lot of the same stuff from basketball into the business world. I mean, so many similar things, Ant alluded to being able to overcome adversity. I mean, every day, I'm putting out a fire, so to speak. I wake up and I got 3 or 4 messages that I need to attend to. And, whether it's an employee's mad or this, whatever it is, it's not letting the situation overcome me, and, just always trying to kind of stay that positive note versus, feeling sorry for myself. Like, oh, I got to deal with this. I got to deal with this. I'm constantly trying to just figure out how to solve it and eat. Yeah. I always say, am I thinking about the solution? Or am I thinking about the problem? And so I'm always trying to gear towards that. Even when I talk to my employees, like they'll knock on, off, and they'll open it and I say, are you bringing me a problem or are you bringing me a solution? Because really that's what business is, professional life. It's, are we taking on these challenges and looking at them in the right way, or am I letting it overcome me? It's kind of, when I'm building a story, so to speak, every obstacle, it's either part of the story or it's the reason for your downfall, and so I kind of just live by that. So, like, everything that's happened to me in my life, whether it's illnesses, whatever it is, financial issues, whatever issue is I'm just trying to make it all now part of this story of my life, so to speak, and not to let anything keep me down, so to speak. And just trying to keep pushing every day, and always trying to just play that long game.
Definitely. Now, and you're in the education world. You and I share a lot of similar things with that, being educators. What was the process going into that? I know you went back to school, you got your degree, which I was really proud of, after hoop ended, and, and you was working full time, and, your story is dope. Trev's talking about obstacles. You had to overcome a lot, mentally too, because in fact, I remember you tried to make one more run at it in 2015. You were a couple years off.
It was oh, man.
Then you went to Asia. You and Ave. Shout out to Ave. You guys went to I think it was Taiwan to play in the tournament.
Malaysia. Yeah.
And,
man.
And then you tore your quad.
Yep.
And then I think from there, then you were working. You were working in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then you went back to school, which was dope, to get your education, to get your teaching degree. So talk to us about wanting to be a teacher and what went into that process.
Man, like I was telling you, man, like I grew from 5'10" to 6'8" over 2 summers. And as I grew, some of the messages that I was receiving from my family, my grandparents through marriage, I don't really like saying that because I don't look at it like that, but my grandparents through marriage, Fred and Dorothy Cordova, they're historians, community activists. They've lectured at University of Washington. They actually helped create the American Ethnic Studies Department, the framework for what it ended up being. Like you have Professor Gamboa, you got a lot of people that are the older cats that are still up there that swear by my grandparents, and it kind of blew me away to see that because I'm looking up to them. And so I always had this influence, and I wanted my mom, obviously, who had her own experience with adversity, getting through it, going back to school. So that was like my blueprint. But I learned men and women got to do things is definitely not the same route, same level of adversity, but different. You got to have a different strategy. So I had somebody that had me reading James Baldwin books in 6th, 7th grade, college level as she was in school. Ralph Ellison. I got all of that. But I'm also in the neighborhood and I'm around a lot of my peers. They're not caring about none of that stuff, right? So as I got older, as I grew, that just kind of went out the window, right? But I remember even as a hooper in my most successful day, my grandma Dorothy, my mom would always remind me, boy, you writing, doing stuff. But my grandma Dorothy would always say, you're a teacher. You're a teacher. And I was like, Grandma, y'all make it. I got some money, man. You're a teacher. Remember, you're a teacher. And my auntie Shaw would always say, Tony, remember, you know how to speak. You know how to So my dad would be like, hey, you can't say. So I had all these lessons that I kind of ignored, I guess. I don't know, but it was always in my head, like, man, I got to come back to this at some point, right? Didn't know when it was gonna happen. I thought it was gonna be like 38. Finish hooping or whatever it is I'm doing, then I'll come back like Mr. Cooper and be a teacher. That was more or less what I was thinking. So as I'm playing, each injury, each time I get hurt, each time I'm like, man, I don't got no more money. I was like, I need to go back to school. Me and Romar didn't have the best relationship, but I was learning about bylaws. Right? I was starting to do some research on NCAA athletes and just learning like, yo, they gotta let me back into school, right? But the person that signs off on it is Romar. So I felt like I had to show Ro first. Like, yo, I'm nowhere near the dude that I was, right? I'm working, I'm doing this. I got a job at UW just so I could be right on campus, right? Just so I'm gonna run into your ass. And it was more like a Goodwill Hunting thing, right? And I'm not saying but it was more like there's gonna be a professor that comes into this building one of these days. They're going to ask why this 6'10" dude that went to UW, right, that played basketball here is now cooking, working for, I think it was like $13, $14 an hour, right? Why isn't he back in school, right? And so, RIP, Steve Schwartz, he's a biologist, vascular biologist, someone considered him the father of vascular biology. He got a lot of pull, right? The science department is way bigger than the hoop team. And so he comes through my line, says a corny joke, and I was like, what? And from there, sparked a friendship. This dude was giving me books every day, and we would talk about him like a week, 2 weeks later. And he was like, I don't get it. Like you're analyzing, you're doing this, that, and this. Why aren't you back in school? And I told him, I made some mistakes here, but so it's like 2015, 14, and I'm done hooping. I want to be done hooping. I'm working now. I'm in the kitchen. And I meet this dude and he starts introducing me to professors. And all of a sudden, I start writing. He just tells me, I just want you to start writing about your experience. So I start writing about the NCAA. I start writing about being hurt. I start writing about being a black man, blah, 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 blah. And then within months of that, all of a sudden my scholarship is reinstated, right? So that's the first time where I'm like, yo, hold up. So I don't know what just happened, but networking, right? So knowing someone, having the ability to tell your own story, being able to identify what you've done wrong in order to grow enough to where somebody can realize you have changed. In that moment, I realized, bam, okay, so I get back into school. Now I'm in school. Now I need to show these guys school is easy, man. This is easy, bro. I learned work ethic through hoop, right? I learned that if you put in the work over a period of time and the mistakes, and so I got on the dean's list and it was okay. Now, yeah, okay, I should have been doing this my whole fucking life. Damn, bro, I need to teach people to do that. So I thought I could just go into a school with my degree from UW 2016. Yep, sign me up. I want to teach history, and that's just how you do it. It's like you don't got no certificate. You don't got no, bro. Okay, but we got a position for you. And I call my instructional assistants teachers because the amount of work that's done by them it rivals any general ed teacher in the building. And that's just my personal opinion. So I was an instructional assistant. I get put in the room with these boys, and I'm like, yo, this is all they do all day. Like, and why is it only black boys in here? Like what? What is this? So I started teaching them stuff. Me and Miss Duncan. The next year, Miss Duncan leaves, and I get my own room. Right, I'm with the kids. I'm teaching them reading. I'm teaching them all these different things, but I'm not allowed to speak for them. Like I'm not allowed to say certain things in meetings. My observations aren't being weighed the same as somebody that doesn't even want them in their classroom. And I was like, yo, this isn't fair. Like, one, I'm the primary person that works with them, but I don't have any say in none of these meetings. And in fact, you got to start to schedule them, right? So then I find out, okay, I need to be a sped teacher in order to speak for my guys, right? So then I learned that there was a program where you could get your master's degree. They'll pay for it as long as you want to teach. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I get into this program, and all of a sudden I become a problem because now I'm learning, hold up, these kids have rights as sped teachers. These IEPs, they're not being followed. So everything I'm learning in school, I'm seeing not happen I'm not going to say the school, but I'm seeing it not happen. Right. And so I'm like, what the, like, this is illegal. So I end up, I wanted to teach history originally, but it was like, this is where I need to be. And even if I realize that my fights are going to be more outside the classroom, and SPED is something that's kind of frowned upon, even in my own community, these kids need somebody to advocate for them. But not only that, have access to be able to change the things. Like if you look at some of these kids, their cases, that's what they call them, which is just horrible in itself. I'm supposedly a case manager. I call myself an advocate, or their teacher, or their support. But if you look at some of the things that these kids get put in these classrooms for, you'll see that it's something that they may have done in kindergarten or fifth grade or eighth, sixth grade, and they get put in this classroom. Now think, and we've all gone through school. If you had to learn math, science, just the subjects, right? All the core subjects, but you were never allowed to actually go into that room, and you were being taught that stuff by somebody that wasn't necessarily trained to teach you. Now, you would be able to probably pick up on the skills, right? But the social aspects of being in the classroom are gone to you. So you get to high school, and you're expected to all of a sudden, right? And you can't. So then they now have an excuse to put you in that one classroom. And so I went from being able to point it out to now it's like, no, this is what's going to happen for this student, right? This is, and I don't back down from it because I know I have the federal law on my side, have the community on my side, and just the know-how to maneuver it to where I'm not hurting this kid and I'm not trying to hurt you. It's just what it should be. So, getting emotional, man. I get real emotional, man. But yeah, I literally, the more I went to school, it's crazy because Trev was talking about getting to a point where you're able to wiggle, right? And going back to COVID being a blessing, man, I had all these ideas and I got to just slow down, right? I'm in the house and it's got to slow down. And it was crazy. It's like, man, I build curriculums every day. I use stuff. If you look at most curriculums, even though they've changed, a lot of them, they're still not culturally relevant. They still don't practice UDL, right? And this is for general ed classrooms. And so if you think about universal design of learning, like you can make a lesson accessible for any student, whether they're in SPED or not, if you really wanted to and put the components in, right? So then I started to think about all these other just areas where you can utilize, as long as you have a framework or a thought process that'll go with whatever you're doing or that submits you, it doesn't matter what you're doing, right? And so I started a business, and it's crazy because at one point it's like, man, I'm looking at, I'm doing my little thing. I'm proud. I'll pay for my internet. Can pay for, and now I'm looking at like, dang, bro, I can almost say I'm gonna be able to do this and not have to do that, which would open me up to help kids that much more because then I don't have the restraints of the institution, right? Of the school district. And so not only does it help my family, being able to venture out and to start thinking like Trev is already there, to start thinking as an entrepreneur, but still have the mindset of I'm doing this to ultimately give kids access to the educations that they really, really need. And I also have a vehicle that I had to give credit because I wouldn't have been able to start this without Ace Academy, but Ace, but they're the ones that kind of showed me that that's a reality to even think along those lines. So definitely got to shout out Academy for creating excellence. Because I'm very long winded, man. You got to tell me.
That's dope, man. That's dope. All right, what we're gonna do? Finish off the thing. I got some quick hitter questions for you guys. We don't need. You guys don't have to, give your reasons behind it. We just got some quick hitters, and then I got one final question that that I want. That I want you guys to answer is for our listeners. First one, who are the top 5 players that you ever got to play with? And Trev, if you don't say me, we're gonna have some issues, bro. Like, if you don't say me, Trev,
we don't want him to lie, Adam.
Oh, he knows. Trev knows what's up, man.
Yeah, number 1, Adam Jose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
no, man, that question is tough. It's tough. As far as basketball abilities, at the time, Al Snow was. I mean, he was the dog. I mean, he was a man in the 8th grade, and so that just carried. I mean, he was a man playing against kids. I mean, that's the best way to put it. He was a grown man.
NFL fullback.
He was NFL fullback, if not linebacker. I mean, it was similar to like Ray Lewis, how he comes in and he's spiked with energy. I mean, he was one of my favorites. I gotta say that summer league team I was on with AWASH. There were so many just great talented basketball players on that team. I mean, from Anthony himself, I enjoyed my time playing with Eric Sandrin. I mean, I mentioned him a couple times. Will Conroy obviously was a beast, and then the Brooks brothers are always my favorites. But I mean, there are so many other honorable mentions in there. I mean, like the Anthony Grants of the world. He doesn't get mentioned as much, but he was phenomenal. I mean, long, 6'4", could shoot it, play D, block shots. I mean, I've just been blessed to just play with so many fun, talented players that I've had a lot of fun playing with. I mean, it's been a joy. I'm sure Anthony's top 5 will be a little bit less biased than mine, but I'll let you go ahead and answer.
I'm gonna throw the bonus one in there. I didn't get to play with this guy, but he came into the gym one day. He was speaking to UW before they was about to play Notre Dame, and I got to play with Magic Johnson. So another reason I don't care what nobody said about point guards. The stuff he was doing at 40-something years old or however old he was, he's probably older than that. Just amazing. That don't count. That was just a bonus. That's a bonus. But
is that a bias when you're talking Steph?
I'm just saying like for me it's like I played with a player in Nate, right, who could go for 30 at one point, and he had 2 other players on the court that Will Conroy did facilitating, and B. Roy sacrificed a lot of his game doing facilitating. So the only thing I'm saying with Steph is he spends half of the game not facilitating. So like if you're a point guard, all the greatest in my top 5 spend the whole game facilitating, right? Whether they have the ball or not. And that's literally all I'm saying. Like Steph, as far as a shooter, as far as a player, I would never in a million years argue anything against him. I'm just saying, like, for me, yes, Matt, and playing against him and seeing it in real time at 40 whatever years old he was, and he's playing with a bunch of college athletes who feel we're pretty good. It was just like, dog, the pace of the game, our open runs have never, it was crazy. But just really quickly, my five would be, I gotta throw my guy in. I'm gonna get a call. Doug Wren, gotta throw my guy in there.
Right.
And I'm saying that because, no reasonings. Doug Wren, for sure. Brandon Roy, I don't care what anybody says. From the time my guy was 17, to me, he was the best player in the city. And I do players that I actually play with, not play with in an open gym or anything like that. But I was gonna say more, but I stopped myself. I'm gonna go with Nate, because Nate, he did things on no reasoning. Sorry. Doug, B, Nate. It's the list that I gave you already, man. I put, it's the list that I gave in LOB. I'm gonna throw Harvey Thomas. He's from the DC area. I played with him, the Yakima Sun Kings. I won Rookie of the Year, but he's Harvey Thomas. And then the fifth player, I could go with a lot of people, but I'm gonna just go with this dude because you guys would never hear about him. But his name is Lee Cook. He's from Nebraska. I was in Mexico. He's my height. It's the same dimensions, but he's a guard. And I don't know what he did in life, but like, there's no way that he shouldn't have been an NBA basketball player. Like, three of them guys, Harvey Thomas, Doug, and Lee Cook, I have no doubt in my mind should have had 10, 12-year careers in the NBA.
Lee Cook,
so,
not Lenny Cook?
Nah. Lenny Cook was nice. This dude named Lee Cook, bro, he was amazing. But he played in Mexico, right? If most of the time, if you're playing in Mexico, because Mexico is one of them cities where, our countries where you could play down there, they ain't tripping off of many many things. I'll just say that.
All right. So you have 5 players you got to play with. Who are your 5 favorite players from the town, from Seattle? I mean, it could correlate to who you got to play with. But yeah, 5 favorite players from Seattle.
You want me to start that? I'll go. I'm gonna go Maul for sure. I mean, just what he does as a human being. I mean, just one of the nicest dudes you'll meet. I mean, he's just down to earth. Just a great guy, and then an unbelievable basketball talent. Got to throw B-Roy in there. Just the accolades that he's accomplished. I mean, in such a short period. We all wish from the town that, his knee would have been better. But I mean, he's done some amazing stuff. I mean, him, JT, was a Franklin legend. And then I gotta get my guy AB in there. He's a all-time favorite for me. Just as a fan and as a friend. But another guy that we haven't mentioned is Peyton Siva. So I was coaching with Franklin at that time, and I mean, just his personality, and I mean, he just encompassed the word winner. I mean, just in all facets of what he did, competed at every level, team first at all time. I mean, he was just a champion. I mean, that's just the best way to put it. And so I just admire all those guys immensely. Yeah.
Man, it's pretty much the same list, man. B, Maul. My goodness. See, this is hard too, man. I got love for all these guys, man. Somebody gonna look at me. Oh no, this is favorite though. This is just favorite.
Favorite? Oh, okay, yeah.
B,
my list might be a little different then.
Trey, Roydell, Garfield heavy.
It's
B,
okay. I'll
Trey.
go with my favorites.
Yeah. I had to switch it up. Actually, I'm not going league. I'm not even thinking league on the snow. Cause like I said, I was on the bench for a lot of that work that he put in. And it's just favorites when I think about somebody where it's just like, dope. I'm about to say, see, and I said I don't want to go NBA. and I just said it on the on LOB, man. And I think he proves my damn point. I appreciate you, Adam. But he proves my point, bro, of what I mean, dog. Like, if you would have seen this dude play, if you would have seen, like, it was, even though I got hurt, even though I tore my quad, like, I tore.
He's talking about.
Yeah. Oh, my bad. Yeah. So I tore my quad, bro. The whole thing was, oh, they got the 1-2 punch. Get hurt. So I'm watching this whole tournament, man. And up to this point, I've seen clips, stayed up and watched the game, right? So I've seen him kill. But it's different when you're in the seats. You're watching somebody do what he was doing, bro. The way he plays the point guard, like I was wishing I was younger. Like I was the one time that we actually showed what we could do on the court together was in North Seattle when we beat the UW team.
Yep.
Yes, bro. And that was the one time that we were kind of at the same, like I'm healthy, you're A, you're Flav, and they couldn't do nothing with us, right? But nonetheless, yeah, just being able to watch him play on that level, and just being witness, man, to he don't like Abe don't get enough love, but easily the reason why I know for a fact you could be a facilitator and still go for a clean 30, dog, against top competition, bro. And that's so it's yeah, man. Excuse me, my bad. I was about to start crying, bro.
No, you're good.
It's gonna make me start crying, man.
You're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking favorites, then Snow and Brooks got to be on my list. You guys all know that.
You have to switch it up, man. Right?
Yeah, those guys are my guys. But yeah, I mean, so many dudes from the town. I mean, honestly, we all become fans or supporters of anybody that makes that's trying to make it out. Guys from the town that get to the league, and everybody's supportive, and that's great about the city is.
You should have asked favorite players to play with rather than your top 5. Because look, bro, I can't put my cousin over Magic, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you would have, you know what I'm saying? Now I feel bad, bro. I'm just thinking about my like, come on, man. Like, I just thought about that, man. But I can't put my guy over Magic. But if we're thinking if it was players that and I think you did say that, right? I had to throw Magic in there. But yeah, nah, hey, it's like in the family, everybody got basketball is a huge deal in everybody's family, right? And so I remember when I played for Garfield, it was like, yo, yeah, I mean, y'all was filthy in the hood and all that, but ain't none of y'all ever played for Garfield, right? Me and Abe are the two people that both played at Garfield. We both played beyond high school. We both played overseas. But I remember we were working out, right? We were working out at a Seattle Athletic Club, I think it is, downtown on the water. And this is my little cousin, man. It's my little cousin. And obviously he's a guard, but that didn't matter. I went to Garfield. He played booties and all that. So there's none of that. And he was beating me one-on-one. And I'm like, man, this dude, like he was already nice, but you could just see like his development. And I he got into some trouble. And I remember being really, really mad at him because at that point I felt like, yo, you're the best player in our family, man. And I remember telling him that a long time ago. But and then watching him play, it just kind of solidified it. Like I done had some great games. I done did a couple things, bro. But the command that you have on the court, bro, is second to none. And I'm not just saying that because he's my cousin.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So.
All right, man. Well, last question. For Bruce, Charlie, and myself, man, we appreciate you guys being on again. You guys have, if let's just call it under 30 seconds or less. If you have some young hoopers coming up to you, and they're like, man,
set the timer, man.
if you got, they're like, man, the ball's about to stop bouncing. Man, what advice would you give me? Because you guys are two successful guys in your careers. What advice would you give to young hoopers who's the ball's about, or young hoopers to start thinking now, when the ball stops bouncing, what's the plan? Because not everybody's gonna be a pro. Like Trev, you alluded to, you're like, yeah, I didn't after college, I wasn't gonna go hoop. And then Ant, you were in the midst of the fire, Miami Heat overseas, but then you started thinking about plan B, or what's next. So what would you tell hoopers? What advice would you give them when they're trying to prepare for the next phase of life?
I would say try to find a mentor. Somebody you really respect, somebody who will give you some key insight to your life, somebody who can help you, guide you. I would say finding a mentor, and then also, following your passion. I think a lot of people, whether it's picking a major in college, I don't know how young we're talking here, Adam, but whatever we're talking, I think so many follow the money, when in reality, if you follow your passion, the money will come. It's the most passionate people about whatever they're passionate about, money always follows them. And I think so many, especially young folks, they get seduced by following the money. Maybe it's something a parent told them. Maybe it's trying to prove something to somebody else, or following somebody's path that they think is best. But really just following your own passions and not trying to necessarily please people, but necessarily not letting them dictate because they know what's best for you, because really you're going to know what's best for you, and you're the one that's going to have to put the energy and the time into making that passion come to fruition. If it's you're following a parent's passion, whether it's hoop, whether it's school, whether it's you want them to be a certain profession, trying to please them, it's going to be tough sledding the whole way. And so it's finding your passion, following it, living life. Yeah, that'd be my best advice.
Okay.
Definitely. Just kind of piggyback. I always butcher saying, so I don't even know if that's the right saying, but thinking about what Trev just said, so not taking that into account, or taking that into account, not having to say that again. Man, life's not over, man. It's not over. And a lot of the times when you do follow that first passion that you have, that hoop, whatever, you kind of feel like life is over when it doesn't work out like it's supposed to, or you don't get to the league, you're not making the same money Maul makes, or just whatever. And so that's the first thing, and then realizing how dope you are and whatever it is that you ultimately want to do. And I guess I am saying the same thing Trevor's saying, and just being positive about it, right? Anticipating adversity, anticipating or understanding the need to grow. And the thing that Trev said, the main thing that Trev said, the principles that you learn from hoop, you can apply these to anything and they will work. I've been successful in the kitchen. I've been successful in a damn doctor's office as a PSR, as a teacher. Like, it doesn't matter what you do. If you apply the same principles that made you a good shooter, a good defender, or whatever it was you did on the court, you will have success in life, man. And yeah, man, and have faith if you do believe in a higher being, whether it be God, Allah, however you want to put it. Stay centered in spirit, spiritual, mental, and physical, man. Yeah.
Man,
I mean, one thing, I know I'm over my 30 seconds, Adam, but another, just on
I think we both are.
so, like, you just be your own champion, like I think I'm a great example for that, being, 5'7" Asian kid walking into Franklin thinking I'm going to hoop and start, and, it was kind of a ridiculous idea, but that was me being the best that I could be. I never expected to go to Franklin and average 30 a game. So that wasn't I was being the best that I could be. I'm not blessed with certain basketball talents, so I knew what I could do, but I knew I could work hard and do these things and make them best of myself. So I think that's key for a lot of young folks is everybody wants to be the star scorer, when in reality not everybody's born to be the scorer, but we're born with talents uniquely of our own that we can apply to the game of basketball or life and just bring that to the table. And create these wins. But yeah, I know I'm over the 30, Anna.
No, you're good, man. Man, gentlemen, like I said, man, I can't tell you enough how much we appreciate, man. The stories alone have been amazing. Just hearing your guys. I'm sure we could go for another
About 5 more hours.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
196. Yeah.
So,
Just
yeah.
cook dinner real quick, man. Come.
But like speaking for my guys from BTST, man, we appreciate you guys taking time out of your day to come talk with us about your journeys and the evolutions of your careers post basketball. And it's been dope. And you guys are good friends of mine. I appreciate you both. My group, our crew, we appreciate you guys taking time. So thank you again. It's been a blessing to have you guys on. To all our fans and followers, continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, like us on Facebook, you know, the whole nine. Charlie, Bruce, any parting words?
No, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been fun having you guys on. The engagement, you know, when we ask these questions, the engagement you guys had, it's some of the best we've ever had, you know?
Yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts.
That's dope.
A lot of fun.
No.
Thank you, fellas.
I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I've been waiting for this, man. I know I was kind of on some MIA type stuff, man, but I do appreciate you having me on. And Adam, man, it's crazy. I may have thanked you, bro, but you know, I remember, man, when you basically became my agent, bro. You know what I'm saying? When I like, you was my agent, dog. Like you making you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, man, and you're always willing to help, you know, to help somebody grow, right? Even encouragement, the acknowledgement. I just appreciate you, bro. You're a champion, man, and yeah, man, you deserve all the beautiful things that are here and gonna come, bro. For real, I appreciate you, dog.
Man,
And y'all probably remember when I was the head case, man, at UW, man. So you know, but yeah, man, it's just an honor to be on with y'all, man. Thank y'all very much.
Appreciate the love, man. You guys, like I said, I appreciate the love. And Trev, you know, I appreciate you. BTST, Dr. Trevor, Professor Ant, signing off. God bless. Thank you guys. Stay safe.